Why the Chechens are called the most destructive army. Russia's aggression on Ukrainian soil is in conflict with interests.
Welcoming everyone, I am starting another new episode of World Tribune. I am Nadim Mahmoud Nayan with you. If you are new to our channel, please stay with us by pressing the subscribe or follow button, and if you have already subscribed, thank you. So let's move on to our original report.
No more aggression, Russia-Ukraine war. Fear is spreading all over the world. Heated discussions are going on. Meanwhile, a group of Muslim soldiers went to war on behalf of Russia, echoing Allahu Akbar. The question is who they are, in what interest they have become Russia's ally. Yes, they are the Chechen army, the so-called ruthless army or the most destructive army. The army chief of staff is considered to be the most feared world lord at the moment. The Chechen army is one of the main reasons why Russian President Putin has not lost a war in the last 12 years. Russia has carried out a devastating attack in Syria, challenging the United States, but the Muslim Chechen forces have done the main work on the ground. Now the question is, who is this Chechen army? What is their history, the Muslim entity, or how to deal with them? How can a piece of Chechnya in Russia still survive with pride as a staunch Muslim country? What is their relationship with Putin? Who are the Chechens? Chechnya is a part of the Caucasus region of Russia. Its two adjoining republics are Ingushetia and Dagestan. Many nations live in Dagestan. The Chechens and Ingush live in the rest of the region. In the past, they belonged to a tribe called Nakh. Most people in the North Caucasus republics are Sunni Muslims. Persia, Russia and Ottoman Turkey have been fighting for oil-rich Caucasus since the 18th century. The Chechens have always fought to their advantage, but the Russians have been their enemies. Such fierce hostility is nothing new in the Caucasus. Except for Russia, the Chechens do not see their neighbors Osset or Georgians. Such ethnic conflicts have been raging in the region for hundreds of years. Through the collapse of the Bolshevik movement of 1917, the Chechens formed an independent state with their neighbors, the Ingush and other nations of Dagestan, supported by the Tsarist army. By 1921, the Bolsheviks annexed the whole region to Russia. In the Soviet Union, Chechnya was given some privileges of autonomy, increasing the rate of education as well as the quality of life. Many Chechen and Ingush warriors fought valiantly for the Soviets in World War II. But in 1944, millions of them were forcibly sent to Kazakhstan. Many people died there. There are various theories as to why the Soviets were removing the Chechens and the Ingush. The common denominator is that Stalin wanted to invade Turkey. Muslim Caucasians are thus driven out because they cannot be trusted. In addition, some Chechens were involved in anti-Soviet activities during the war. Later, under Khrushchev, most Chechens returned. From here, things get trickier for Chechens with the Russian immigrants. The dominance of the Russian language in the Caucasus, the increase in Russian landholdings, these were not well received by the Chechens or the Ingush people. In the 60s, there were several riots between the two sides. Let's get back to the basics. In simple terms, if India brings together 5 to 6 big countries, then Russia is one. After the collapse of the Soviet Union, many different countries were born. The area was inhabited by Muslims hundreds of years ago. Soviet Muslims began to live in this area as a group in the evolution of time. The group is called Chechnya within the mainland of Russia. Although many consider Chechnya an independent state, they are not actually an independent country, but a province of Russia. Russia was the only Muslim country in Chechnya. Chechnya rebelled against Russia in 1994 for an independent state, and they no longer want to be with Russia. Chechnya lost the war to Russia, and the rebellion failed. Vladimir Putin has not yet come to power. the Chechen crisis continues to grow. Because Chechen Muslims are not at all like the Muslims of other countries. They are as powerful as they are educated, as well as highly skilled tactics. After all, they are Russian Muslims. In 1999, the Chechens revolted against Russia, fighting for an independent state. This time they became even more destructive, killing about 100 Russians. Russia defeated the Chechens with all its might. The Chechen capital city was demolished. In the end, Chechnya lost again. Putin came to power in Russia at that time, so in order to resolve the ongoing crisis, Putin announced Akhmat Kadyrov as the new president of Chechnya, and Russia signed a peace agreement with Chechnya. The Chechens will live in peace inside Russia, enjoy the same benefits as other citizens, and will carry out all the responsibilities of Chechnya's budget or development. Then peace returned to Chechnya and the country was reorganized. But in 2004, President Akhmat Kadyrov was assassinated by Chechen rebels. At the same time, Putin calls on a man who is Ramzan Kadyrov, the head of the devastating warlord Chechen army. Ramzan is the son of Akhmat Kadyrov. After the death of his father, he came to power in the country. This Ramadan was Black Belt Judoki, Chechnya's head of defense, against whom there were hundreds of cases of disappearance and murder. Yet Putin chose him. Overnight, all rebel groups in Chechnya were disbanded, and Chechnya began to reshape. Russia bears 80% of Chechnya's budget. As well as the real estate business, they see huge profits. Ramzar formed a full-fledged militia in his own name outside the Chechen army. Those who are called Kadyrabadze. A huge amount of money from Russia began to be spent on building the Chechen army, which was created as the Ruthless Army. Peace returned to Chechnya literally. In fact, Chechnya is a completely Muslim country. Strict discipline is obeyed here. The women have to wear Islamic dress in all the nice mosques of Salab area. All the customs of their original men are observed by pouring. Often we hear of homosexuals being killed in Russia, mainly in Chechnya. Homosexuality is not only forbidden here but also a heinous crime. There are also cases of homosexuals being killed openly. If anyone opposes this issue, disappearances and murders take place. When asked by human rights organizations around the world, President Ramzan Kadyrov replied, "There are no homosexuals in Chechnya." Where there is no homosexual, how come the question of murder? Understand how barbaric the dictatorship of Ramadan is. Ramadan has been in power in Chechnya since 2004. With the money given by Russia, not only the development of the country but also all his hobbies are being fulfilled. He has organized his own army in full force. And the practice of these armies is so barbaric that they are called Ruthless Army all over the world. The Chechen army is at the forefront of any war. But the funny thing is that the Chechen army chief is a celebrity, with millions of followers on Instagram. Throughout the day he is seen having fun with pets, practicing judo, praying or cycling. Followers of Ramadan are almost 6 times more than the total population of Chechnya. However, he will not be able to understand how terrible he is behind all this unless he goes a little deeper. In 2016, Ramadan was declared the most terrifying world lord and was identified as the most wanted criminal. That is why he was banned from Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Ramadan will not be allowed in any country outside of Russia. He doesn't even need it. Ramzan Divya picks strawberries at the Belarusian president's farm, wearing a t-shirt with Putin's picture on it, and arrives in Russia to celebrate his birthday. Calling celebrities and chatting, catching snakes, carrying socks on a lion's lap. Ramadan's job is to promote peace and prosperity in Chechnya and to remain loyal to Putin. Russia will invade Syria, there is no need for Russian troops to die. Putin is sending Chechen armies. They are going and carrying out atrocities on the side of Russia. The Chechen army is stationed in Ukraine with 12,000 troops, all of whom are frontline soldiers. As brave as it is destructive, Russia was in vogue during the war. One Chechen army is equal to 10 Russian soldiers. These soldiers are so capable. These Chechen armies have been mentioned in many Hollywood movies. You can understand them as villains. Just a story. What else do they look like? In fact, not much is known about these Chechen armies. How many troops they have, what kind of weapons they use. This information could not be found anywhere in the entire internet. However, it can be said with certainty that the Chechen armies can use the entire Russian defense source if necessary. In that case, it is understandable how terrible they can become. Putin may be using the Chechens to his advantage. Of course, the Chechen rebellion was dealt with in the same way that Putin did. Whether it is Afghanistan, Iraq, Iran or Libya, America has been creating unrest in these countries year after year in the name of establishing peace. In comparison, Putin has managed the Chechen crisis in his own way. Chechen troops are fighting side by side with government forces. That is the wisdom of leadership. The war-torn region, however, is still in danger of falling into the hands of militants. So there are doubts about the sustainability of peace in Chechnya.
Thank you so much for watching our report. To get such informative videos, subscribe to our World Tribune YouTube channel and follow the Facebook page. See you again in a new episode with a new topic. Stay well then stay healthy.